Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Women's Coffee Club. We created this club to provide a safe space for women to share and inspire each other. So grateful to see all of you, but especially my good friend LaSchelle, who is who agreed to present this morning. Her topic is let me see what's your topic, LaSchelle? It's Awaken the Conscious Leaders Within. What a great topic. So with that, LaSchelle, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you decided to choose this topic. Thank you.
Thank you. Hopefully you guys can hear me fine. Is that cool? Okay.
Yes.
So I am a transformational life coach. And why did I become a transformational life coach? Because my life was sucking. And I realized that I was actually living my life for other people. And I remember one night I was sitting at my brother-in-law's law office in Long Beach, California, on the top of floor in all of Long Beach, looking out over the ocean. And it was 3 o'clock in the morning. I thought, what am I doing here? This sucks. And I ended up on a journey that has been almost 7 years now to help me. And this conscious leadership popped into my life about 3 years ago. And when I first heard about it, I was like, oh, this sounds really fun. This is really cool. Like, business leaders need to be conscious leaders. And what I realized is every single one of us is a leader. And some of us don't realize that we're a leader. And so I just want you, full disclosure, I'm having serious technical issues today and have been the last couple of days. My iPad did the black screen of death and I can't get it to work. I can't connect to what I was going to do the presentation on today. So we're going to just do it kind of old school. I was going to try a different way. And so we're going to see if this will work. And we're going to be using a mouse instead of a pen. So please ignore, I have not practiced with the mouse. So please ignore my terrible handwriting because I haven't practiced it this way. Anyways, so I'm just going to start off, I just wanted to kind of get us on the same page. And you know what, for myself, I'm going to have you guys drop into the chat something that you're grateful for or something that you did to resource yourself this morning, just so we can see some things that people did to help them get here today and be kind of grounded or centered, or practices that you felt. I know Jenny said that she likes doing mindfulness. I know Mo is a total mindful girl. Omeka is too. So I'm calling out my people. Oh, I love that, Jenny. She admired her beautiful backyard while eating oatmeal. So she's feeding her soul and her body. And Mo, I know Mo gets up at like 4 o'clock every morning and she teaches boot camp. So I loved it. Setting alarms to get where you need without without even thinking about it. Went for a walk with a friend and our dogs. I love morning walks with neighbors. Slow morning, sipping coffee and enjoying the morning. Ooh, I love that, Lisa. My morning meditation and tapping. Awesome. Another meditation. And the rhythm of my husband and I in the morning. It's grounding. I love that, Jessica. And Jessica was sharing with us that she lives in Patagonia and it's her favorite place to live. So that just sounds delicious to me. So I'm going to see if this is going to work. And we're going to hold our breath. Okay. Are you guys seeing anything? Good. That's positive. So first, I'm going to share with you guys about, whoops, I just lost the thing. I'm going to put you guys over here. The macro and the micro of conscious leadership. So before we go, I want you guys to put in the chat what you think a leader is. When I say leader, what does that mean to you? I love me some box breathing, Mo. Yes. One who moves, I love that. A person that influences others in a meaningful way. A person that inspires others. That's awesome. Well, So if you guys are okay, because there's 12 of us, or I guess there's 11 because Jessica's got her note taker. So 11 of us on here. If we were to take a poll, we would get independent visionary, someone who allows each person that they are leading to bring out the best in themselves. That is creating space for others to grow. So if you guys are okay with this, I'm going to put a definition that we're going to use for today. And so, whoops, this is not letting me, come on. Everything is stuck in the same spot. I'm so sorry, you guys. This is where things are. There we go. Got it. Why won't it close? This is so embarrassing, but this is how life is, right? And this is giving me a great opportunity to practice what I'm preaching. Okay, here we go. So if we were to use my definition, and now it's not letting me. Okay. I don't know why it was working before. I actually practiced this once before. There we go. I got it. Oh, go away. Okay, here we go. So if Mo had it very close. So we're going to talk about influence. Why is it doing it like that? I'm sorry. Okay, we're just not going to do that. Well, it's not working. I love how I've practiced like all these different ways, and right now it's just giving me. So we're going to for today the leadership definition we're going to use is influence. So our ability to influence, and then conscious is our awareness of our influence. And so I want you to guys think if there is a person that you can, of someone who may have had influence over someone else, maybe in a job, maybe a client that you have that may have had some kind of influence, but they weren't aware, and it was not a positive influence. Can anyone think of that? Anyone experience someone like that? Mo's shaking her head. Yeah. And it's interesting because for me, the word leader has always been a kind of a sacred word. And to me, a leader is someone who I want to follow. And it's interesting because I've worked in a number of corporate, and I still have a corporate job, and I'm also an entrepreneur. And it's interesting because I get kind of offended when someone who I don't want to follow shows up and says, I'm a leader. Well, I don't want to follow you anywhere because I know I'll just be going somewhere really bad or to a train wreck. So to me, I think some of these people don't realize their influence. And it's interesting. I also think the same thing of a manager. So, but each one of us has an influence. One person was sharing our influence is our biggest influence, what I've realized, is at home, and our biggest influence is with ourselves. And that's actually the most important thing, is how are we leading ourselves? How are we influencing ourselves? Are we being responsible for our impact on other people's lives? Or are we just out there just like a tree, just letting the wind blow and doing nothing? And are we aware of our influence? And so a couple of things I wanted to share with you are this graph right here, and I'm not sure if it'll let me get bigger or not. I should just not worry about anything, right? Just keep it, there we go, make it bigger. So this graph right here, normally I would color on it, but I'm just not going to because it's not working today. I'm guessing that how many of you guys have experienced some rapid change in our world that is kind of a little unsettling, particularly since about 4 years ago? Anyone kind of notice that? I see a number of hands. So what kind of is going on? This is a graph that was actually created by Eric Teller from Google X. And basically this is the rate of change and this is the time. And so for most of us, as time was going, the rate of change was increasing. But what kind of happened is right about 2020, we kind of hockey sticked. And so I remember as I was thinking about this morning, I remember listening to a podcast and someone said, our change that happened in January of 2024 was more than multiple decades in other periods, just in the last 100 years. And I was thinking about that. I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happened in January, a lot of different changes. And so as we are in this part up here, dealing with the rate of change being faster than what we were actually created to be able to do, we have to have some techniques or tools to help us be able to like calm down and be able to regulate ourselves and resource ourselves. And so this is something that was created by a man who he lived in San Diego, Jenny, and all these San Diego girls. And it's a book called Leading Well from Within. And this is Dr. Danny Friedland. And I actually never got to meet Dr. Danny, but I have been influenced by his work. He was a medical doctor. And while he was in medical school, he realized that here we have all these doctors. And my dad was a doctor. So this spoke to me because I saw it. My dad was on call so many times, missed so many things because he was up all night. And I can't remember, like so many of our dinners, he was not there. So Dr. Danny, when he was in medical school, he's like, we're working these 12-hour shifts. We're making like life-changing decisions. And we are so exhausted and under-resourced. This is not working well. So he ended up coming up with this program. And he finally put up his hand and said, is anyone else feeling just overwhelmed and frazzled while they were in medical school? And almost everybody put their hand up. And so he decided that he wanted to try and change the way that a medical profession was doing. So they had people who were actually resourced and had a huge influence. He also was very involved with conscious capitalism, if any of you guys are aware of that movement, by Raj Sisodia and some others, John Mackey, who started Whole Foods. Anyway, Dr. Danny, he came up with some ideas, and this is one of the things and he talked about. He said, when our demands exceed our resources, we're in the spiral downward and we just can't function. But we have some things that we can do, and we'll talk about some of those today. And then if our resources exceed our demands, then we are able to become more creative and more have more resources and be able to be more open. And so what to me is, I ask myself this often: am I being a resource or am I being a demand? And it's interesting, as I was thinking about that, sometimes I was thinking of, I was at an event a couple of years ago, and I was an event planner for 14 years for one of the top 6 events in the world. I did fundraising for women's cancers. We had all sorts of celebrities, so I worked with a lot of celebrities and all sorts of people. And so it was kind of stressful. And I mean, we had Sheryl Crow, Halle Berry, all these different people, Pat Benatar, all these people that would come, and we had to make sure that their everything was working. So when I'm at events, I'm always aware and watching, and I'll see things that other people may not see because of things go sideways. Like today, my technology's gone sideways. And so I went to the person who was in charge, and because they were a friend, and I said, "Oh, can I help you?" And what I realized as I was preparing this morning, I was actually thinking I was a resource and putting myself out there as a resource, but actually it was making her stop and be able to think of something for me to do if we wanted. So actually it was more of a demand possibly than a resource. So sometimes when we think we're being a resource, we might be a demand on someone else. I know a lot of you guys are entrepreneurs, and I think sometimes when we're putting stuff together, or when you have the cleaning lady come over, how many of you guys, when you have the cleaning lady come over, you're actually doing a whole bunch of stuff to get ready for the cleaning lady to come over? Yeah. So the cleaning lady is supposed to be a resource, but it's actually also a demand because you have to get ready to have the cleaning lady come over, right? So sometimes, and I've had this conversation with people, sometimes that's like more stressful having the cleaning lady, even though it's nice you don't have to do the physical labor. But anyways, so that's something to be aware of also. So one of the other things I'm going to do is a little bit of the neuroscience, and this really stinks that I can't I can't draw, but we're just going to make it work. So this right here is what is basically called the triune brain. It was created in the 1960s by a doctor. Oh gosh, I can't remember his name, John or Jack McKay, Jack McKay. And basically, this is actually kind of tied into our resources versus our demands. And so our limbic brain, our reptilian brain right here is where we go when we have more demands and resources. And this is like the fight, flight, freeze. So it's your sympathetic nervous system, which to me, I always think it's so weird. Parasympathetic and sympathetic. If I'm being sympathetic, I should be feeling better, right? No, it's, and it's interesting because I was looking at fawn, and I realized that a lot of us probably use the fawn. It's like saying yes to people when we should really say no. Doing things because we just want to keep things at like make ways to be able to kind of like. And it was interesting because I'd never read it like that, and it was something as I was preparing for this, I read that, I thought, oh, I know I'm like that. So many times I'll be like, oh, I'll just keep the peace. So it's the fight, flight, freeze, and fawn, and it's where you go to survive. But where we are when we are creative, or when we're actually acting in our leadership that we can be, is up here, where we're using our executive brain. And so one of the things, this right here is to keep us safe. And so right here is a big, in this triangle should say safety. This right here is being part of a group, being part of a community, being part of this. And it's our love and belonging, and it's right here. But to get the stuff done that we need for being able to have the creative part that I so enjoy, it's being up here in the executive brain. And that opens up your significance and creativity, and that's where we want to be. And so if we're working over here and having our demands greater than our resources, we're spiraling downward, and it's into reactivity. And so when we're reactive, we're hitting that parasympathetic, trying to be safe. But we want to be over here where we want to be in creative, so we can spiral upwards and have more and more and more, and have our resources. So one of the things that I found so interesting is that for me, so many of we are so resourced, and we have so many things within ourselves, but I was never aware of it. Nobody taught me that. And so one of the things that Dr. Danny Friedland taught is this little, he has this little heart. And, but I'm going to change it to what I teach in one of my programs. And so this is actually something that you can do. And for me, I have an acronym. It's called PODS, PODS. So it's P is for pause. So if you get into a cycle of reactivity where you're spiraling downward, you just want to stop and pause. The next one is observe. So the O is observe, like look around, what is going on? Maybe do an internal check or an external check. I mean, sometimes like if the stove's on fire, well, it's pretty obvious. There's flame and smoke's coming out, right? But sometimes when we're having an internal thing going on, there isn't flames or smokes, but there's all these little signs and signals, like your emotions, maybe your cortisol has gone all over the place, and so just paying attention. The next one is decide. Like, so after you've paused and you've observed, then decide what you're going to do. And remember, you can choose to be either a demand or a resource, or you can see. And what I love too about resources is, yeah, I'm fully resourced, but I also have a lot of resources I can draw on. People, YouTube is also a good option. Google, except I don't really care for them. And then the last one is to start or to schedule. And so you can either make a conscious effort now, or you can do a conscious effort later. One of the things that I have decided to do for me is to schedule is a morning routine. And I have actually used Hal Elrod's Miracle Morning for a number of years, and I quite enjoy it. And I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with it, but Hal is an incredible person. And so I'll just tell you what it is really, really quickly. I wasn't going to, but I feel like I'm supposed to. So it's savers, SAVER. So the first one is silence. So you either meditate or pray, do whatever you want. A is for affirmations. I have like a whole list of affirmations that I've written out. V is a vision. Work on your vision. Say your vision out loud. E is for exercise. That one's my least favorite, and I really suck at that one right now. R is for reading. And so it's like reading 10 pages a day out of a book of something that's positive that's going to help you grow. And the S one is for scribe, so journal my gratitudes, all of that kind of stuff. And lately I've been doing a lot of journaling at night too, and kind of a checkout, and it's been really powerful. And I can feel like I'm getting more stuff done because at the end of the day, I do a little inventory. What did I do great today? And I'm making myself celebrate. And I think we don't celebrate enough. And then the other one is, what can I do better tomorrow? Or what can I learn? What things didn't go the way I wanted to today that I would love to have go better tomorrow? So anyway, one of the biggest things I have found is that for our resources, our breath is one of the most powerful things that we can do. And I noticed that Mo mentioned box breathing, which is one of my favorites. And also, now I'm totally, you know what it's called. It's coherent breathing. So one of the things that's interesting, have you guys ever seen an EKG? Like somebody hooked up to a heart monitor? What does it tell you? Suzanne?
Your heart rate. Oh no.
Exactly. So if your heart rate is going, if it's going like this, is it usually going, is it something that's good? What if it's going like this? Is that good? No. So what you want to have is coherence. And so one of the ways you can actually, if you get into the parasympathetic and you're having a fight, flight, freeze reaction, one of the things you can do is you can do what's called coherent breathing. And so I'm going to lead you through one of those. And this is something you can do anywhere. And it's actually one of those things where it's FREE. And I don't know about you, but I like things that are FREE. It's a really good price. So, so if you guys don't mind, I'm going to lead you through just a little bit of time on this coherent breathing. One of the things that's really interesting, I don't know, have any of you guys heard of HeartMath before? HeartMath Institute? I love them. So they've done a bunch of, they have this huge research arm, and they have been looking at heart, and they're actually the ones that talk about the coherence. One of the things they realized is the perfect breath is 5.5 seconds. And so, which I think is really interesting because just out of intuition, when I do box breathing, which maybe we'll do some box breathing later, I always pick a factor of 5. So anyways, so if you guys are okay, we're going to do a little bit of coherent breathing. So I want you guys to take the biggest, deepest breath that you've taken today yet. So go ahead and breathe in and breathe it out. Maybe take 2 big, huge ones just to kind of clear your system, okay? Okay. And I love that Mo put her hand on her heart. And it's interesting because I'm just going to tell you something. I don't even know why, but this was a practitioner who teaches heart math. He actually taught us I always put my right hand on my heart up until he taught me this. He said there's something about the left hand on your heart that actually helps the connection of your whole circuit system. I don't remember why, but I'm like, okay, he's done a lot of the research. So, and I should have figured it out, but I'll ask him again. But anyways, so and then if you want, put your other one, I don't know if you can see that, underneath like on your chest. Or if you want to just hold, like some people like to hold like this. I just like it because it's like our body is a circuit. So I'm going to lead you in it and I'll count it for you, okay? If you want to go off camera, if that makes you more comfortable, that's totally cool. if you're not comfortable doing this, it's your option. You don't have to do this, but this is just something you can do. So I'm going to have you go ahead and we're going to go breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to be quiet and let you do 3 more cycles yourself where you can count it out for yourself. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back. I love seeing your faces. So I would love to hear from some of you guys how that made you feel. You can raise your hands.
Relaxes you.
What was that?
It relaxes you. Mhm. It calms you down.
Yeah, I feel more
Yes,
connected to myself, going in and pausing, feel centered.
yes, yes. I feel the same way, centered and connected.
That's the
Very
amazing
peaceful.
thing
How you?
about breath work is it brings us into the present moment. Like there's no regrets of the past, there's no worries of the future, there's nothing. You're right here and all you're focusing on is your breath. So it's such an invitation to let go of those things that don't serve us, that keep us from shining, that keep us from being our best leaders in whatever role we're in. So thank you, LaSchelle. It's that is something that everyone should do. It should be prescribed. They should do it in school. I think it'd be amazing.
They
Mhm.
should.
That'd be
Well,
awesome.
and it's so interesting to me because would anyone else like to share how they felt?
Yeah, I realized that
Elmeka?
I realized that I need to slow down. I be running. Oh, I gotta go do this, I gotta go do that, I gotta wash clothes, I gotta get to shopping, I gotta do, yeah. So, and sometimes I do, but I realized that how much I'm rushing around. So thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Slow
you.
down.
Yeah.
Move
Mhm.
too
Yes.
fast.
Teresa?
Yeah, that was definitely fantastic. I tend to go 100 miles an hour also. I'm an early bird. I'm an early riser. I mean, I already walk with my friend and back and coffee and breakfast. And so it's really nice to just bring it bring it down and center. And it felt good. Felt good to just do that.
Awesome.
Thanks,
I
Suzanne.
love that you
Thank you,
got your
Teresa.
walk in.
Yeah. Suzanne, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I didn't realize I've been doing that all my life, being autistic, but not realizing I was. I've been doing that breath all my life. It's just been you get to that point where your body's just like in that hyper mode, and it's just like the only way to bring it back down again is just to keep
Yeah.
breathing out. So it's like, even though we were taught that by Mary and BTI and everybody, it's something I've been doing all my life. It was the only thing that would bring me back to the equilibrium again.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Suzanne.
Did you want to share, Jessica?
Yeah, I felt it helped me feel more grounded and more centered. It was nice. It changes the perspective in the moment.
Thank you. And Shri, you're the only one that I haven't heard from. If you would like to, you can.
Yeah.
If you don't want to,
Yeah,
that's
no, I
cool.
just raised my hand actually, so perfect timing. Yeah, even though I meditate in the morning and I do a lot of EFT tapping, that just now, I just felt this enormous sense of peace. Like it was maybe because it's terrible to say, but my meditations like become like this, not that it doesn't serve me, but this morning it was quick because I was up really early and I knew I was going to do this call. And in that moment just now, it was I'm comfortable. 2 years ago, if I had to on camera, do breathing and put my hand on my heart, it would have been odd for me, quite truthfully. I've worked into this and I just rely on meditating and all of this now. But this felt really peaceful. I just felt a sense of peace. It was really nice. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Well,
Sri.
to me, and Jenny, I can't remember if you spoke or not.
No, Jenny and Lisa hadn't spoken
Oh,
yet.
okay.
Put in the chat, calm and peaceful. It's amazing that something so simple can make such a difference. And like you said, it's FREE. That was cute. I loved it. You said that. We just have to remember to do it. So I already put a little sticky note on my monitor to remind myself. Thanks.
Very good. Thank you. Lisa.
I just felt centered and connected to myself.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you doing that. It's funny because I like Omeka and go, 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 go. And this morning I was laughing. I'm like, I think the technology broke because you're supposed to be breathing today. So just breathe through it and it's okay. And it will just be a completely different, and I tried a different way and it didn't work. So we're just going for it. So it's interesting. One of the other things that I know sometimes when you're in a meeting or something, you can get triggered, or for me, or sometimes when you're nervous, like when you're speaking, you can get nervous. And it was funny because my technology issues, I usually do like a round of box breathing or how many of you guys know what box breathing is? Okay. So you know what? For the rest of you guys, I'll share with you because it's actually my favorite one, and so that's why I picked this one because I knew Suzanne and I knew Rini would be here, and I know that they both knew box breathing, and I forgot that Mo and I have done it before too. But box breathing is actually really easy too, and it's another technique that you can use. And for me, you get to pick how many breaths in and breaths out. For me, I like the pause that you get in the box breathing because it's sometimes it's in the pause that sometimes things will come into you, and also it's like almost a pattern interrupt to our bodies because you're like, nope, I'm not taking a breath here. I'm not taking my breath. So for those that don't know what it is, it's basically a box has like 4 sides, right? And so what box breathing is you breathe in for a certain number of counts, you hold your breath for the same number of counts, you breathe out for the same number of counts, and then you hold for the same number of counts. So we'll just do a quick round of box breathing just for those people so you can have another technique. And then I'll do one other quick technique with you guys that you can do actually where nobody can even know that you're doing it. And it's really helpful. So we'll just do like we'll do 2 rounds of box breathing. So I'll go ahead and take a deep breath in and then expel everything. And we'll start. So I'm going to have you breathe in first, then I'll have you I'm going to do 5. Breathe in for 5, hold for 5, breathe out for 5, and then hold for 5. Okay. So go ahead and breathe in 2, 3, 4, 5, hold 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5. And hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5. And hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5. And hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can take another big deep breath and just let it out. And stretch. I like to shake it out, just get you energized. One time when I got some really, really terrible news that I'd lost 60% of my retirement because someone had been very dishonest, I had to sit there and do box breathing for about an hour. And it was the only thing, like, finally, I'm like, finally was able to. And over the next like 4 or 5 days, I just was so grateful for box breathing. So it was something that helped me through a really, really horrible time. So I'll just really quickly do one other one. This one's based on unified mindfulness. And so I don't know if any of you guys have ever been in a meeting where it's just really miserable, or you're getting some I don't know, maybe a diagnosis, or getting some feedback from a boss, or a client just fired you and you have to try and keep it together. This is actually something, unified mindfulness is a practitioner, Shinzen Young, and he is hilarious because he's like a Jewish Irish monk that came up with this unified mindfulness. And I don't even have it, but I just feel like I should teach it. So one of the things that he teaches is this thing called see, hear, feel. And so I'm going to just take you guys through this. Let me put a timer on because I wasn't going to do this, but we have time. And so I think the most important part about being a conscious leader is having resources so you can resource yourself when those demands start coming at you. So what we're going to do is we're going to first, I'm going to have you have your eyes open, and I want you to just look around your room, and I'm going to say, see out. And then you can see what, and then focus on something. So like right now, see out, I see it, my goals sitting right above my computer, which I'm looking at all the time. Or then I'll give you a few seconds and then I'll see out. And then we'll go look at something else. Like I can see my light thing. So we're going to do see out. Then we're going to do see in. And so when you see in, and some people have a hard time with this, but just close your eyes if you have to. Maybe you can see like a picture on your mind. You can see like for me, sometimes I'll see a sunset, something that I really enjoy, something like that. And then we're going to move to hear out. And so I want you to listen around your room. For me, I always hear my computer humming. Sometimes I'll hear a bird chirping, a car driving by, airplane flying over. And then the next one we're going to do is hear in, which that one's hard too. Sometimes I can hear my heartbeat. Sometimes I can hear voices of things that I want to do, or things, or like messages for my soul, for myself. And then the last part we're going to do is feel out. So either like touch your pants, feel your bottom on your seat, your feet on the floor, and then we'll feel in and feel like love, gratitude, something like that. So I'm just doing it really, really fast, but this is something you can do while you're in that really icky, sticky moment. One of my coaches actually did it while she was driving because she was so stressed out driving that she would do see, hear, feel while driving. So anyway, so I'm going to have you start. So take a deep breath, and we're going to start. So see out. See out. See out. See out. And just let your eyes wander. See out. See in. See in. See in. See in. Hear out. Hear out. Hear out. Hear out. Hear in. Hear in. Hear in. Hear in. Feel out. Feel out. Feel out. Feel out. Feel in. Feel in. Feel in. Feel in. And take a deep breath and come back to the room. And I'd love to hear what you guys thought about that, because it is a little bit different.
That was really cool because I've never done that one before. So I thought I'd done them all. So that was really neat because especially the feel in, because I do body scans sometimes during meditation. I was just talking to a client about doing that just to connect. And so it's really you're connecting externally and internally. So that was really that connection. I'm such a big fan of like the heart mind connection and that external internal connection. So I'm gonna be writing that one down. That's great. I love that one.
Thank
Me
you,
too.
Mo.
I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I'm also big on doing breath work, and I do this breath work called rhythmic breathing. And I've never heard the backs tone before, but it's very similar actually. Um, but it's rhythmic breathing with music and just beautiful like rhythms, and then you breathe and breathe for a while, and then you hold your breath. My favorite part is just holding my breath in And then when I let go and then just holding for a little bit, I'm just like, it does something to me. Like I do it laying on the floor, and when I do it, I swear I see different beautiful colors that bring smiles to my face. It's really, really beautiful. So thank you. I enjoy these kind of exercises. Thank you.
Thank you.
Binta. And when you were
Shri?
talking, it
Oh.
reminded me of being a little kid. I used to love to swim, and my favorite stroke was breaststroke. And so I would actually go underwater and hold my breath. And I hadn't really realized till when you were talking right now, that's probably why I love holding my breath so much.
It's
So
my favorite
thanks for
part. My favorite part.
that insight.
Yeah. Thank you.
Shri, Shri, I
Yeah.
saw you. Thank you.
I have to tell you, I've never done that before. And that just, I'm almost speechless because it gave me answers, and it was amazing for me. And I was just going to use it more often. Like it just like things like just like childhood stuff came back. Like when you said when you said see out, and I have this plaque on this thing on the wall that I had made. It says the waves of the sea help me get back to me because I'm an ocean person. And then it just, I can't even tell you how much this did for me today. So thank you. But can you just repeat the order? It's see, hear,
First,
feel.
it's see, yeah, see, hear, feel. Yeah, and you go
Okay.
out first and then
Yeah.
in.
I just
I
can't
can't
remember if
remember the
there was
name.
more than those three.
Yeah.
Jessica shared a resource in
Oh,
the chat.
in the chat. Okay.
Yeah, and it looks
Awesome.
I just peeked at it and it looks really good.
Okay. Thank you. So that was amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Lisa.
Well, and just a second, Lisa. And one of the things too is you can do it anywhere, and nobody
Yeah.
needs to know you're doing it, because you can be sitting there doing it, and it's a way to just stop and pause while
Right.
you're in the middle of a meeting, and nobody knows you're doing it. So go ahead,
Right.
Lisa.
Yeah, I had an interesting experience with the hear in part. So for a little minute, I was trying to hear in, and I didn't hear anything. And then I had this thought: I'm hearing my feelings, like listening to my inner feelings. So I hear grief, I hear hope, which was interesting. I've never heard feelings before, but that came up for me.
That's awesome.
I love
Jenny?
that. Thank you for sharing.
Jenny?
Yeah, I was just looking at the chart online. I was surprised that they could describe it in like 75 pages. It's more in depth than we realized. Yeah, that was awesome. Thanks for all these techniques are great. And I'm such a believer in being conscious, because most of the time we're not. We think we are, but we're really not. And we notice that when we like drive across town, then we don't even know how we got home. We're like, what? How did we get here? So all these techniques are great to bring us back to our consciousness and our leadership. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Teresa?
Okay, yeah, that was freaking amazing. I've never done that either. And it just brought up a lot. I'm sitting in my office, and I have a lot of things or little things that meant a lot to me and my mom. So that like freaking was just like, she was here. It was really, really good. And then also when I went in, I'm on this journey to get healthier. And so it just kind of showed me like, what's going on in here with your belly and your water intake. And so many things came to me right now. So it was really, really amazing. I really love it. And I did look at the website too. And Jenny, I agree with you. It's like 74 pages. Like, whoa, there's my homework. But it was amazing. It was amazing.
And normally I would have done a longer practice of it, but I did a really, really short one. I'm like, can I do this? And I felt like somebody needed it, and it sounds like a few of you I got some messages that you really needed, and that's why I was inspired to do it today. So maybe that's why my technology broke.
Yep.
So we could get to this.
Thank you.
Know, who knew that something like breathing could help you to calm your nervous system? It's amazing. You're talking about conscious leader. I had no idea it's breathing that you were showing, but it's amazing. We have 7 more minutes. Anybody else want to share? So LaSchelle, is there any other material, or you just is this
That
it
was
pretty much?
there's a whole bunch of other there's a whole bunch of experiences, but I just normally when I do this, the introduction, it's a 2-hour introduction. And so
Oh, wow.
in 40 minutes we're doing, yeah. So I had to cut a whole bunch of pieces out. So I
Okay.
picked the favorite parts of what we're doing.
Okay.
Omeka?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for that. That was great. I'm going to use that a lot. I realize what is around me, besides a few piles of things, but they're like creative piles, creative things to do. Relax and unwind, harvest blessings. This is our happy place. I have like signs all over. My mother has pictures of family and the drums and the room I'm sitting in now. So it really, I felt affirmed in that I'm surrounding myself with positive, creative energies and stuff. And then on the inside of a lot of them, I was my auras and my chakras and my aura were energized, and I just felt really loved. And I was massaging my organs, and yeah, it was beautiful. Thank you for that. Yeah. Yeah, and
I
then
love
being
that.
aware of where I was sitting and what I'm wearing and all that. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Omeka.
I know it was interesting because like I don't normally sit there and feel what my what the first time I did it I'm like, well, what am I gonna feel? So I started just like rubbing my leg and rubbing like feeling my pants and took my foot out of my shoe and was rubbing the carpet and feeling the bottom of my feet. So I'll do different things now, but that's not something we normally do in our lives. That's kind of weird, but it's calming and kind of interesting to sense things and feel things in a completely different way. Mo?
You made a great point with the pattern interrupter. I mean, that's so important. So Sunday, and then I realized, oh, my woman time is coming. And so I was like, why am I so stressed out? And thinking, okay, so I increased my water intake and my foam rolling and stretching and things like that. But Sunday, for whatever reason, I had to keep stop. I was feeling anxiety in my body for no reason. And so I probably stopped like 25 to 30 times on Sunday and just said, okay, what's actually going on right now? So it's very much that pods that I do the 4 N's. LaSchelle, you know those, from our group. But it's that pausing. That's what I did. Okay, what's really going on here? Okay, I'm feeling overwhelmed because I got a lot of things on my list I want to do. So let's just focus on the next 5 minutes. And that's what breath work does. It allows you to just dispel the overwhelm. It allows you to be in the present moment and to understand what that means. I heard so many people say that here, which is so powerful. Like when you tap into that, you're like, you want more of that. And it's a practice. So you have to practice noticing, you have to practice being connected to your body, listening to those signals. And I love what you said, Teresa, about getting better, because that's a big part of my program, just connecting people to their bodies and understanding your body's always giving you feedback, but we're not listening. Like Omeka said, we're just go, 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 go. I got things to do. I got other things to do. But so taking just a minute, I stopped in box breathe for a minute this morning just to ground myself. And so I cannot, echo LaSchelle's message enough to express how powerful this is to work it into a daily. And like I said, it doesn't have to be 75 pages worth. Just starting with a minute, 2 minutes in the morning can really start to reshape your brain. It creates new neural pathways, neuroplasticity, we get to rewire our brains, and it all factors into that. And, they took violent criminals and put them through a meditation process, which really what breath work is. It is meditative. And they changed the physiology of their brains. If you want to know what Jedi mind tricks are, moving things with your mind, we are reshaping our brain just by the way we think, just by the way we breathe. So that is so powerful. So thank you so much, LaSchelle. I'm glad that I saw that you were going to be here today. And I'm like, oh, I got to be there. So that's awesome. I love it.
Thank you for supporting me. Well, and
So
it's interesting,
powerful.
something that Mo just said right now. There's a guy who I met who is teaching this also, and he's in prison in Maine. And he made a choice when he was younger, and he's like, yeah, I wish I didn't. And he's gone through and done a lot of stuff with Bruce Lipton and all of these things. It's very sad because early this year, I think it was in February of this year, they got a new person that was in charge of the prisons, and they cut his access so he can't get out to the outside world. And he was teaching all this stuff, and even inside the prison, he said the people in his cell block, the guards would say, we can tell there's something different. And so that's the one thing about this, the conscious leadership too, is we do have influence. And so when you're out there having a crappy day, or when you're out there, you're emitting all this energy and people can feel it. Your clients can feel it. Your family can feel it. You can feel it. And so it's so important to resource yourself. And for me, the pods, it's actually like a pea pod, or there's this really pretty flower. I don't even know what it's called, but it's pink and it's in bloom right now. And it's got these pods, and it's all over the place, but the pod protects you. So our pause, observe, decide, and start or schedule, it's to protect you. And so one of the things I'm going to ask you to do is just schedule or put on your calendar 2 minutes to breathe, to do one of the practices or something else, whatever you want to do, to make sure that you're actually resourcing yourself. Because I know the days that I don't resource myself first, I am not one of those people like, I'm just not as calm, as grounded. And one of my other favorite things is to go ground, and that's just like, take your shoes off, go stand in front yard and look at the sun, especially if you do it in the first hour when the sun's just come up. It's really powerful, and it actually can help reset your circadian rhythm so you can get better sleep at night. So if you resource yourself in the morning, you get your better sleep at night. So anyways, thank you for your time. I am going to be doing a full 2-hour intro in the coming weeks. I have not picked it because I'm doing it with somebody else, but I will put that in the chat in the group. So, and I would love for you to come, because it's actually some really powerful connections, which are so what we need right now. People who are purposeful, that we can connect to. So thank you, Rini, and everybody, for your time today.
Thank you so much,
Thank
LaSchelle.
you.
Such a great topic.
Thank you.
So it's so simple, but yet it's really necessary. Next week, I will be really talking about the Women's Coffee Club. This club has been in existence for over 3 years now. Things have changed, the world has changed, and we need to evaluate to see the good, the bad, and the ugly about this club. Do we want to continue it? Should we change the format, or should we basically, it's just a conversation and just kind of a reflection, and see, I think I would love to see us to collaborate. All of us have a lot of gifts and talents here, and how should we change it? What should we, what would you do for the future? So I would love for all of you to come and chime in and think about how could we help you? This is not about me. I'm just facilitating, I'm just accommodating and managing the platform, but it is our platform. I don't even have to facilitate. So I really would love your feedback as far as this club, and how we should, what format should we change it? Should we keep it? Should we let it go? What should we do with this? So would love your input next week if you're free. And I really appreciate your staying here and listening to this presentation. LaSchelle, amazing as always. So before we close this, anyone want to say something? Otherwise, I'll turn it back to LaSchelle to have her last word.
I'm just grateful for everything that I've just learned, and this is just my favorite topics. Is growth, is healing, is just calming people's nerves and centering people. So I'm very grateful, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Binta. Binta has been here since the first day that we started this. So yeah. So LaSchelle, I'm going to turn it back to you to close this out.
Thank you. I thought I kind of closed it out, but I just appreciate you guys all breathing and doing this. I think that at this time, like I said before, we need to be more resourced, and nobody's going to resource us. We have to resource ourselves. And for those who are, in a relationship, you can have better relationships by resourcing yourself and teaching those you love how to resource themselves too. Your kids, they can have better days at school, better, make better choices. And for all of us, it all starts with ourselves. And here I thought leadership was something else. It's me. It's my influence. It's me being aware of my influence and taking responsibility for it. And I know, having done this, I have a few coworkers who give me a lot of opportunities to practice breathing. And I have a sister in particular who gives me a lot of opportunities to breathe and to work with this. And so it all starts with us. And if we want to change the world, we can change with us. And it's as simple as what God gave us, our breath. So thank you for coming, and thank you for participating.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, everyone. Thank you, LaSchelle, and everyone.
Well,
And
thank you.
have a great week. Have a great weekend, and hope to see
Bye,
you all next
everyone.
week. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Everybody. Bye.
Thank you.